Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Alliance's Performance Shop, Lone Star, Mopars.com. Just took a look at some really sweet Hazette stuff that's sadly been waiting way too long to get its limelight time. And we're not going to make that happen here, and it's not necessarily because I think these are as cool or anything. It's much more simple than that. I need them at work, and we're just going to jump in with that. So, KC Tool, I've got links and timestamps down below. That is there solely for your convenience. You should know, though, if you spend over $75, you're going to get yourself free freight. If you buy anything at all, whether it was $2 or $100 or 75 dead even, you get a bit of things. Currently shipping as a number 2 from Witte. If you exceed the $100 mark, you used to get a German tool sticker pack. You no longer do. I've kind of hit on this in the past. Still haven't made like the dedicated video for it, but you're thinking like, oh, the sticker pack's gone. What's the deal? Well, fear not, you can still buy the sticker pack. It's very reasonably priced. You can also buy a mystery sticker. You're like, mystery sticker? What? Yeah, a mystery sticker, literally. I'm not making this up. It's a mystery sticker. And what you have there is essentially the replacement for the German tool sticker pack. I did not have to buy this because it was free, because we exceeded the $100 mark with this order. So, I have not showcased a single one of these. These are, I think there's 12. Don't hold me to that, but we're going to actually open one this time. So, it even comes in a mysterious bag. I mean, how crazy is that? Can't see in through the backside either. No cheating. And these have something else in common with one another, aside of course from being German tool specific. Oh yeah. So right here, what do we have? We have Philo, but you'll note it's large, it's in charge, and it's holographic. That's right. Take me back to the mid-90s. So instead of getting like a whole litany of stickers every time, you're going to get one. You could place 5 consecutive orders at KC Tool over the $100 mark over the course of 5 months. You might get Philo every time. You might get 5 different stickers. You might get 90% completion, and you might then wind up getting the same things over and over again. You can purchase standalone. But again, even there, you can't like come in and spec it out. You would just be taking a crapshoot. It's like a grab bag, right? So my advice, find some people, whether it's like a YouTube comment section, social media somewhere, and maybe get like a trade network going, just complete your sets that way. Or you can shell out a ton of money if you need like the stickers, but slowly over time the end goal will just be to complete the set. So how close am I to completing it? I have no idea, because that's one of the first ones I've actually looked at. Also, for the battery light fans, yeah, the battery light rears its ugly face. So what is going on here? Well, this is a combination of like 3 or 4 orders, and they all again have that one underlying thing that we need them at work. So believe it or not, from the seasonal 2024 winter, you got some really good stuff here, by the way. Twin grips, highly recommended. The pincers are a fantastic deal. I haven't pulled the trigger. This is actually a good set. This breaker bar is amazing. I have that thing at work. The only downside, if you spin with it, this is square handle, kind of more rectangle, obviously, but it's not concentric. It's not like a typical, ratchet handle. It's Gedore style, so it's sort of rectangular. And it's fantastic for actually using it as a breaker bar, but I'm somebody that then turns it, makes it 180 degrees, and spins. It actually spins better than you would think it would. I know, because I've been doing that over the course of the last like 2 weeks. But there's a couple of bolts, and you can't really run an impact socket. They're too tight. So I come in with the chromies, and I break them free, and then I just run them out with that thing. And you could definitely find something that would spin a little easier, but it's really not as big of a detriment as you would think, especially if you get that in. I've showcased it, but when you see it, you're like, oh yeah, and it's wonderful for breaking things free. Just kind of a downside there, but like I said, I've actually grown to get pretty good with it. So believe it or not, though, one of the reasons we're rushing this video and making it so soon ahead of things that have patiently waited to be showcased is this item. This is a BlackGiant utility bar from Picard. And the price is $23.99. We didn't pay that because I picked it up on the Super Bowl sale. Since the Chiefs won the Super Bowl over the 49ers, saved an additional 15%. And that item is right here. And if you're wondering why I'm so excited, this thing is made in China. That's the real downside here. Their BlackGiant hammers are made in Germany. It's kind of confusing when you see lines at the same color scheme and it's country of origin divergence. But yeah, these from this size here to the nail puller, which I really want to open this up and try it, so I want to know if I get the nail puller or a set. They've got a set with this and a nail puller. And then they've got like traditional crowbars. There's, I think, a couple of reviews on them on KC Tools website. The guy says, you know, he even admits, like, yeah, it's made in China, but this thing's pretty good. So that is a good sign. I love my crowbars at work, but I'm kind of wondering, I kind of determined 20 inches is the sweet spot for what I do in terms of still accessing things and getting enough leverage. And I've been using dominators, some chisel drivers, some pry drivers, you name it, all in combination. And that's why I'm super excited about this thing, which you would think is crazy, given, you know, that it is sort of from lowly origins. But I have faith. I'm always told, you know, like anytime they go overseas, you know, they at least do their homework and vet things and, you know, test it out before they throw their name on it. But BlackGiant utility bar. What do we have in English? Nothing on that. Well, yeah, right here. Twin T profile, reinforced outer radius weight, optimized, extremely strong, resists bending. It does look beefy. High strength steel application, optimized alloy monoblock, forged in one piece, hardened and tempered. And the precise pulling of nails, wide shape for secure support, no slipping due to unpolished surface. So right here they even have, you know, made in PRC. So let's get this off. Again, I read that up close to my face to save time. Hopefully this adhesive isn't an issue. And yeah, so personally, orange and black, can't ever go wrong with that. It's kind of a, it's not gear wrench orange, it's a little bit more true orange than that. It's not like a vibrant color by any means, but it looks good. That's the bottom line. It looks good. Only orange thing nearby is this PB Swiss for color comparisons. A little darker than that, actually, if that helps you any at all. But yeah, we've actually got this end safety capped. So there is our nail puller. And then over here, it's just kind of like the claw end of a hammer. I do sort of wish that was pointed a bit more for what I have in mind, but, you know, we'll run with it. Again, the good news is with this side, I should be able to go to town. And basically what I do, the pallets all vary that the motors come in on, but it's a situation where I like to reuse a lot of them, especially if they're in good shape, not like mangled by the freight lines and terminals and whatnot. And what that means is I could leave it intact and have the specific size for the motor, but then they do not stack well. When you've got like a 4840 pallet, but then you come in here and you've got, you know, a 2x6 with some cobbled down, you know, stack of 1x4s to hold the top of the motor, and then down here there's a cradle. It gets crazy, and like I said, the big issue, even if you flip it and sandwich them, where I've got all that action sort of nested, it still creates a stack like this. It's not good. When I stack really tall, the wind comes, like we're going to have 40 mile an hour winds here in a couple of days. Yeah, bad things happen, right? So I'm kind of limited to like 10 to 12-ish when they're like that. And realistically, I can ship a lot of stuff and more things if I just level them. And how do I level them? I break off all that cribbing that's essentially attached to the pallet to make it motor specific. So that allows me then to, if whatever I'm shipping, I mean, if it fits, it ships, right? You heard the old saying. So I tear off a lot of lumber. I've got a huge stack of pallets waiting for me, and that's why I was antsy to get this thing showcased so I can take it with me. So on that front, we've got an item. The prices on a couple of these I'm unsure of because my phone's actually dead, but if I dig around, I have this. This sort of ties in. This is from Stahlwille. It was around 20 or so. I think it was actually, it might have been clearance, because I would have liked this a long time ago, and I sort of waited and waited, and I think it's because it was like a really good deal finally. But this would be their part number, 4622SK. If you're thinking, ooh, SK. Yeah, that's right. You're like, oh no, screwdriver, dude, really? You see the hex bolster and you think, that's a tiny, you don't need a hex bolster with that. You're right, I could care less about that. What I got that for is that's the only way I can get that. And you're like, what do you need a striking cap on this for? This will probably never in its life turn a screw. There's a small chance it will. But basically, 3.5 and 4.0 seem to be the sweet spot for when I get stuff in, and I've got to get those. This is thick cardboard I deal with, right, with the pallets. And then a lot of times the operator either does really good and they're sunk in right, or they just stack like 7 staples on top of each other. And that's why I break these drivers. I basically, because I reuse, again, you know, credit to me for this one, but, you know, I salvage the pallets and ship on them, and I salvage the cardboard and reuse that. The cardboard, obviously, instead of me just manhandling it and ripping it off and tearing it apart to bits and pieces, shredding it, if I take the staples out, I can keep it nice and pristine for packing protection. Sometimes, like, you know, somebody orders a ton of cable, we'll throw it in there. It works really well for all sorts of things. I get lots of different sizes. I also throw it as a mat underneath the forklift. I don't want staples or nails or anything sharp and projectile-ish that could go into the tires. So this, you're thinking like, well, surely you've got this covered. I totally do. I've got like every small striking cap I can get from a German tool manufacturer. And essentially, while I know this should perform roughly the same as a Witte, which somewhere around here is broken, I think, on this workbench. Maybe I've moved it. Did I? I don't think I ever sharpened that. We don't really have time to find it, but you've seen it. Okay, we broke that one. Very sad. But yeah, it's kind of hard to find the striking cap with the smaller head sizes. So these sort of go hand in hand in that department for me. And obviously excited to get that one in. Next up, we're just going to throw this down. I don't have the price on it. It's from Halder. It is their part number 3209-040. This is a 1.57 face, and it's going to be aluminum. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this. I want to say it was like $23 maybe. There were a few of these that had eluded me, and when I was able to get them with a 15% off, this, you rarely see any of their stuff on sale unless it's like the seasonal. And so even like when you go in and Knipex has a seasonal sale, and you're like, ooh, 32% off, ooh, 51%. This stuff is like, you never really see it over 27%, especially the made in Germany. So when I could stack the 15, I pulled the trigger on a couple of faces I was missing. You'll be seeing those in the not too distant future, and conveniently, there she is. It was sitting right there in a stand. But this is a 4.0 Pro Top 2 striking cap. It's nestled and embedded. You see that glistening? That's not glitter. That's machine shop dust. But you'll note the Stahlwille is very, very similar, right? Again, this is Witte right there, who makes the screwdrivers for Stahlwille. But you'll note this has a nice heat-treated black tip, and this doesn't. That's because it broke off underneath some idiot's like 6 stack of staples. So this should be a mirror image performance, but I want to find out. And eventually you'll see like follow-up videos, and ooh, you should see some of them. I've got some really beat up ones. It's kind of crazy. This Gedore here also 3.5. The cool thing here, this is a little bit smaller. It was wonderful. This died prematurely because there were I think 2 staples I didn't know were on top of each other, and when I went to get leverage, but yep, we're slowly but surely we will discover which screwdriver is the strongest for that application that they're totally not intended for. So we've showcased that. Sticking with Halder, I want to say this was around 16. Again, I'll have the exact prices for you. This is kind of cool. It's their part number 3408.010, and there it is in the bag. You're thinking like, you got a magic wand, what a great video. You know, mystery stickers, wrecking bars, you know, magic wands. Wow. You know, this guy deserves more subscribers. Well, I totally agree. But sadly, to disappoint you, this is not a magic wand. And what this is, I'm trying to think of exactly what they called it. 1 second. It is steel punch with nylon face inserts. And right there, you're like, oh, okay. So long story short, going back to a Cushman chuck that was a complete nightmare for me. I didn't want to ruin it. That was my end goal, was whatever I do, don't ruin it. Could I get it apart? Many, many ways. You know, fire and grinders and torches can make things happen. But I wanted to preserve this, try to salvage it. Spoiler alert, I've just about done that, if I could ever get some time to go back to it. But I went through a ton. These were good brass punches too. They were Mayhew, made in the USA, not cheap junk, made in the USA Mayhew. And you can imagine coming in, trying to knock that out on the pinion side or the scroll side, you know, whatever you're picking your poison with, it would just bend. And the problem is you can straighten them back out and reuse them, but eventually you get to a point when you straighten that back out, shloop, there goes the tip, okay? And it usually is they never bend like at the very end unless you're hitting something funky like the pinion. You might get lucky and just have the end, and when it breaks, you still got a, you know, 1.5 inches you can work with. The way I was doing this, when you're coming in, you're hammering down on the scroll side, it would just tick, 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 bend, and then I straighten it, and it basically snaps off where it's not usable. What I kept telling people was, I just wish I could use the steel punch, but I had a way to put like a plastic face on it, right? I tried like tape. I tried everything that was reasonable to try, and I would start to see like an impression, and I'm like, I'm backing off. I do not want to ruin this thing. Basically, if I marred that up and wrecked it or broke, you know, one of the like plates off or something, it's inoperable, and the cost of purchasing just that part, having Cushman make it again or catalog it or whatever, I would be better off getting a new chuck, and that's very sad. So basically, this is the answer, and this can't really help me on this one because that ship is pretty much sailed, but it will help me in the future. There are several different lengths, several different sizes. I think I tried to get like the Goldilocks, but basically, steel punch feels very, very heavy duty. I like the length on this, again, especially for that application, but by having this tip, I can bear down on something, have all the benefits of a steel punch that is not going to bend or kick out, and the tip there is going to protect the finish from marring on the side receiving the punishment, okay? So same thing up here, the cool side, you're like, well, I wish it was steel on this side, you'd transfer more force. Maybe you would, maybe it's negligible, but the benefit I see, if I wear this out, I can simply spin it around, go to town that way. So I don't know that these interchange. It does look like there's a part line. I don't really want to tear this up, but we might revisit that, but that's kind of going for future use. Realistically, now that I have it out of the bag, I'm probably going to buy some for the house because that comes in very, very handy. The next item, just because it was on the ticket, is right here from Gedore, and this is something I'm super excited about, but it ties in with this item that I was super excited about. It's their part number 8136-200. That's going to be 200 millimeter 8-inch mechanics pliers. And when I ordered this, I kind of cheaped out, and I was like, cool, you know, Gedore's got their sweet blue back. What am I talking about? I'm talking about their like close to channel lock blue. I think it's subtly different, but it's kind of, you know, the Knipex dipped and textured handle. Same thing with the lower end Stahlwilles. It's not like the smooth vinyl dip. This is a textured one. I know they get dirty, they're very hard to clean, but I love this handle, like the color of it especially. And again, I'm saving a few bucks, plus at the time this was in stock and the JC or fancy 2-component handle was not. I hate this. It just kills me. This is kind of more of a true red. I think another pair I got in the past was like a burgundy. It's not a bad color, is the saddest thing, but it's just because I know that I wanted this. It just, these have never been opened. I I think I should have returned those a long time ago. I kind of dropped the ball on that. Maybe I'll wind up keeping them. But right here is the solution. Again, when these were 15% off with the Super Bowl sale, I pulled the trigger. This one will be 8136-200 JC. What is the JC? Oh yeah, good initials, right? Thinking the man with the plan. And in this instance, oh yeah, that's right. So this kind of is completing the trinity of Gedore pliers for me. We just got their standard combination pliers, we've got side cutters, and now these. I don't have the angled offset ones at work. Oh, these are smooth right out of the box. A lot of people think these grips are too big. I personally love them. Of course, the color scheme, we cannot get any better than this in my opinion. I've used them quite a bit. Again, everything I touch gets dirty. And combination of anise and just like metal shavings and stuff. But they stay relatively clean for what they are. What's cool about these, you don't have any cutting surfaces, right? So they're not like a combination plier. But when they said one of the things that really sold me on these, you got smooth down here if you need to bend something beefy. But check this out, folks. Look at that. Do you see it? These are not straight teeth. They are knurled. They are cross-hatched. It's wonderful. Cross-hatching just sells me on anything. The thing about these, when I was checking them out, because keep in mind, I have not opened that red monstrosity over there. These almost look like a brick wall. It's a very interesting pattern, and I'm curious to see. It feels wonderful running my thumb across it. I'm curious to see how these will hold up. I am also completely torn on if I keep these at the house and take those to work, or vice versa, or if I just like hit calling up and be like, yeah, man, I gotta send those back. Again, my understanding was that Gedore was now rocking, you know, this style of handle if you didn't get the JCs. Apparently that's either old stock, or I think I've been told like you kind of never know what's going to come in. It could be that situation. But man, like I said, that's really not a bad color. It's not terrible. It's kind of akin, like it feels fine. I'm a channel lock person deep down. It's just Gedore has such a cool blue. You know, it kills me on the inside. Now, speaking of cross-hatching, one of the best things about these 318 CBs is the cross-hatching. Sorry, I use knurling interchangeably for some reason there. These are filthy, so it's kind of not a great example. But any pair of pliers can be made better, like these Protos, flush fastener ones, right? How can we make those better? Take those teeth out and make them cross-hatched. At least offer it as an option, right? These are cross-hatched, and man, I can't wait to see how they perform. Every other pair of Gedore pliers I have is not. They're just traditional teeth, so this is super cool to me. And again, this is a pattern. Maybe we'll have to revisit this when I have more time, but that literally looks like a brick wall, like a sparkling brick wall. It's a very, very unique pattern that I personally have not seen before. Again, I think you can see it quite well there. Very, very excited about these. I guess I'll take them to work just so I have like the Trinity, right? The matching setup. And I think that's kind of where I want to leave this one. Again, it was sort of rushed, my apologies. But these have been here a long, long time, sadly. Well, maybe not too long, probably since November or something. This has also been here a good bit because I think I got it clearance. I'm not going to lie. I think that was clearance. I want to say it was like maybe 14 instead of the 20-ish. And it should realistically perform the same as this guy. I just, you know, want to make sure. You know, this thing right here, stupid excited about it. I think you'll probably see me bring more of those in. And then this little guy right here, made in China, seasonal, plus Super Bowl MVP sale of 15%. I want to try it. There is a chance, if we like that, we will bring in the nail puller. I've seen Gedore has a German-made nail puller. I need to check with some suppliers locally. Those should be dirt cheap, and if they've still got American-made ones in stock, I might go that route. But yeah, the stuff I knock off of the pallets and get my flat stuff that I can actually use for shipping, then what I typically do, whatever I rip off, whether it's like 1x4, 2x4, 2x6 combination, like 2x4 with a strip, I get all the fasteners knocked out of them so I can reuse that wood, whatever it might be for, usually just stacking metal or something simple like that. But I want nails out of it. I don't want somebody to come grab a piece and, you know, put a staple in their hand or cut with a nail type of a deal. So, plus we really don't do much with nails outside of building our own pallets, and that's nail gun nails. You know, thinner, less profile, less prolific, traditional styled nails. So it kind of allows me to build up a little surplus, because inevitably when you get stuff in or a customer sends something in on a pallet, you know, it's the junk. Sometimes you pick it up and you're like, oh, hey, that bottom board's hanging out, you know, and so I'll come in, if I've got some nails I've salvaged, boom, hammer them home, done. But yeah, not a ton here, but some kind of unique stuff that, like I said, is going to work with me tomorrow. And if all goes well, I should be cranking around with that thing. I'll have an update probably by the next one we do. And yeah, we will take it from there. So what I want to know from you, if you picked that up on the seasonal sale, how do you like it? What are you comparing it to? What do you think of this beautiful little gem right here that's sadly going to go suffer a fate of probably a broken tip? And are you aware of stuff like this? Did anyone else? Some of you have probably like machined, you know, Darylin or something, you know, slid it over. That's kind of what I was wanting to do. But then I found this and I was like, hey, that's a win. So, other thing, I would think at least some of you would have used these mechanics pliers. I'm not interested particularly in what you think of Gedore pliers, unless you want to take like handle designs. You're like, hey, that red's beautiful, get me some of that. But right here, just that finish on these is super, super nice. And I think this is going to be a really nice length as well. So, yeah, I'm kind of torn again if those should stay here or go to work. I guess I'll take them, break down and do it, and then maybe swap them with those, maybe return that. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm gonna quit rambling. Got to get inside. It's pretty late. Got to get supper and work out, edit a really long video on Vera ball grips, and call it a night. So yeah. I had a good time. I hope you did too. Again, any thoughts or experiences, don't forget this little gem, that you want to share, feel free to do so. Again, the end goal is simply to help people. All this stuff with current prices, at least as of when I edit it, will be there, even though I didn't have them all this time for you. Let me know what you think of the mystery stickers. How are you doing? What have you picked up? What do you want the most? If you actually go to the listing, which I'll link it, you can see the entire set, so you can kind of keep tabs on it. Again, I think it's 12. I don't know for sure. It could be 8, 10, 12, something. Maybe it's 13. I don't know. But yeah, you can kind of keep tabs on it there and make a little checklist or something. Maybe I'll do that for you on a forum or something. But yeah, I'm going to get inside, have some supper, get some working out done, and get some video editing done. So that's the flip side. You got all this cool stuff, and then you just take time to showcase it, and you got to edit the stupid video. I try to shorten them, and I'm like, well, you know, it's all kind of important. But yeah, so let me know if you have used this little gem, or if you knew it existed. I'm kind of interested in that as well. Or if you've made what you did, if you also wreck brass punches all the time, let me know. But with that said, if I remember in the next video, I'll update you on this one, because like I said, I should have heavy use out of it tomorrow, unless something comes up, which it usually does. But that's my plan, is to, you know, get the pallets finished, you know, torn down and everything outside. But yeah, we'll take it from there. If we like it, we'll probably bring in some more Picard BlackGiant. If we don't, hey, we've got that, and we'll call it good with the savings we picked up between the seasonal and the MVP sale. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little something, maybe found some stuff that got you excited, or you plan to pick up yourself. With that said, if you did enjoy, leave a like. If you like multiple things we do here, I encourage you to subscribe. If you jump your charger across a creek, wield your 8-inch Gedore mechanic pliers with a sweet, sweet brick wall cross hatching, while also waving the Picard BlackGiant in the other hand, YouTube just might notify you. We got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. And most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more action on the shop.